This is Gene again. We're here with Amber. She's going to be our dealer, and we're going to talk about this game called Pai Gow. It's played with a standard deck of cards, just like poker or blackjack. A couple of devices here. We have some dice, which controls where the first hand's going to be dealt to, and a button that says who the dealer is and who the banker is. We're going to use 2 decks of cards. In some casinos, they still deal this game by hand. So we're going to deal the first game by hand. And then we're going to use the card shuffler, which is done in most of the modern casinos these days, especially down on the Strip, because we're here in Las Vegas at the Casino Gaming School, and this is where we play. So this is going to be set off to the side. And as in other card games, the first thing the dealer's going to do is inspect the cards just to make sure they're all there and that they're all in play. All going to look the same on both sides. And we're going to put the first one in the shuffler just to get a head start on it. This is an easy game to play. We use the standard poker hands. And if you don't know what those are, you could see the segment on Texas Hold'em, and Liam discusses them quite clearly and lays them out and shows you what they are. It's the same thing in this game, except in this game we have a joker. And in this game you can use the joker as an ace if it's by itself, or you can pair it with an ace, or you can use it to make a straight or a flush. You cannot make it a jack or a king unless it's going to be a straight or a flush. So first we have to buy in some chips. Just like in any other game. I'm going to get $500 worth just so we have a bunch of different colors up here. But when you first start playing, you want to go look for a game that is a $5 minimum or a $10 minimum. And they're always in units of 5 because there is a 5% commission that is taken out of your bet if you win the hand. Anytime a casino has you pay commission, you must be having a pretty easy bet because that's how they make sure that they still put a little bit in the drop box. So in Pai Gow and Baccarat, there's 5% commission taken out of every win. There are several types of Pai Gow games. We're going to do all of them, but the first one is very simple. It's just one bet, $5. There's Pai Gow with poker bonuses. There's a dragon hand, and dealer can bank and the player can bank, and we're just going to start with a very simple one of them, and we're going to shuffle this and deal this one by hand. Every player gets 7 cards. All the cards are dealt, even if there's not 7 players at the table, and the cards will be distributed to the table, and then all unused hands will be picked up and put away. In order to find out who's going to get the first hand, after the cards are set up, the dealer is going to shake a little container with some dice in it, and there's 3 dice in there, and we add them all up. In this case, it's 16. The dealer's position is going to be 1, 8, or 15, and if you are the banker, a player banker, which we're going to cover later, you will also have position 1, 8, and 15. Since hand number 16 is going to get the first hand, it's going to go to that first position there, and the rest of the cards are going to be distributed in sequential order all the way around the table. And in this case, the banker is going to get the last hand. If spot number 4 had come up, then the first hand would have gone here, and they would have gone around the table, and the last hand would have been here. So as the game progresses, different players start each hand. So I'm going to look at my hand because the rest of them are not in use, so she's going to pick them up after she deals them. I'm going to spread these out on the table. Normally you would hold these in your hand. You wouldn't let anybody see them. In Pai Gow, we're going to play 2 hands. We're going to take the best 5 cards and put them in the back. In this case, I have a pair of 4s. And the rest of these cards are going to look like this. I'm going to take then the 2 highest cards in my hand as what we call the low hand. The low hand contains 2 cards, and the high hand contains the 5 cards. There's a caution here. If I set these hands incorrectly, in the sense that I put the 4s in the front hand and the ace and the king in the back hand, I'm going to lose both hands, because the rule is the largest hand has to be a better hand than the low hand. So when I finish setting them up, I'm going to set them on the table just like this. And the player is going to set up his hand first, and then the banker is going to do the same thing with the dealer's hand, but every casino has specific rules about how the dealer will set up that hand, and the dealer really doesn't have that much choice in the matter. He or she has to follow the specific rules. In this case, we have a pair of 9s. It's not a complex hand. The king and the queen are going in the front. So the first thing they're going to look for is, do they have flushes or straights, which is the same thing you did with your hand. When she gets her hand all set up, her cards go in the front. And in Pai Gow, you must win both hands in order to win the game. If the banker wins the low hand and the player wins the high hand, then it's a push and you don't lose any money and you don't win any money. So in this case, the player wins because the player has an ace and a king, which is higher than a king and a queen. In this hand, the player has a pair of 4s and the banker has a pair of 9s. So the banker is going to win this whole thing, and I get to start over again with another nickel, with another $5 chip. Players' cards are always picked up first, then the banker's cards. And it's done that way and in a specific order, so that if there's any questions about what was done in the hand, the cards could be retrieved and put back on the table in order. So now we're going to jump over to the shuffler. On the tables that have an automatic shuffler, there's usually a light right here that says where the first hand is going to go. And since we don't have the light, we're going to use the dice in place of that light and do the same thing we did before. The dice add up to 10, so the first hand is going to go here, and the hands are going to go sequentially around the table. Notice how much faster that is. Okay, I'm going to look at my hand again. All the dead hands are going to be picked up. I'm going to check my hand. When you look at your hand, you are actually going to look at it this way, and you're going to make all the arrangements of the cards in your hand. I really don't have a lot here. I've got a pair of 7s and an ace and a queen. Those are my next 2 highest cards. So I'm going to put those 2 in the front, and I'm going to put all these cards in the back. It's really not necessary to put them in high order, but I like to do it because it makes the dealer's job easier and less mistakes that way. Dealer's got a joker, but there's no ace, and it can't be used to make a flush, and it can't be used to make a straight, so it's just going to be an ace. Oh, she's going to get me again, because she's got a pair of queens in the front and a pair of 4s in the low hand. So my cards get turned over first. Banker wins, banker wins. I lose my $5 again. I'm going to start over again. Don't chase your losing bets. If you're betting nickels and you're losing, then keep betting nickels. If you start coming out here with big money when you're on the low side or the losing streak, you're going to just lose more money. Stay with your bet until you find out what's going on and if you can get something good going. Adds up, let me put that down because the light's in my way, adds up to 14. So the player's 15, so the first hand's going to go here. Notice how much rapidly it goes, especially when there's only one player. When there's 7 players, everybody gets to take whatever time they need to set up their hand. I'm going to look at this. I got 4 spades, not good enough. I have an ace, that's my highest hand. So I'm going to put the ace in the backhand and the queen jack in the front. That's the best I can do. Oh, I have a pair of 4s. My mistake. Let's take a look at that. Let's put the ace and queen in the front. Good deal. I got a chance. Okay, I'm ready to go. Good. No diamonds. Thought she had me again with the diamonds. But she's got a straight and a pair of fives, and we're going to bite the bullet again. We're going to play one more hand this way, and then we're going to show you what a dragon hand is. So she got him counted already, and she's out and going. Professionals are quick. I've got to wait until all the cards are on the table and she picks up the marker before I can pick up my cards. Oh, things are looking a little bit better. Maybe I could win a hand here. And maybe not. But we do have a different result. She has a pair of nines, which beats my king and a four. I have two pair, which beats her pair of tens, so I don't lose my money. It's a push. When there's a lot of spots on the table, I'm going to pretend I'm two players here just so we can show what this looks like. They have what they call a dragon hand option in some games. Dragon hand is that even though I'm playing this hand here, if I choose the option, one of the hands off the dead hand can be used as a dragon hand, and then I get to play two hands at the same time. So I'm going to take the dragon hand on this bet. Oh, that's 150 bucks. I'll take it on that bet. She's going to deal the cards just like normal. An 8, so she gets the first hand. All the other hands are going to come out. The dealer will always ask you if you want to play the dragon hand. You're not required to. And if you don't want to play it, you just say, no, I don't want to play it, and she'll go and ask all the other players in the game. If you just played the dragon hand and nobody else wants to play it, then you're allowed to play it again. So yes, I'll take the dragon hand. So I've got to put up money, and I got to look at this hand first, though. Tricky little devil. And I've got a pair of fours again in the back, and I'm going to put the ace and the king in the top. Because remember, this hand up here at the top has to not be bigger than the hand in the back, so I can't put the two fours in the top. This is the most important of the two hands, by the way, the small one. So that's going to be pretty hard to beat. It's going to take a pair. Any single cards, I'm going to win that hand. So after I look at that one, then the dealer will move the money on top of those cards so I can't intermix the cards, and then I get to play the dragon hand. And back here, it's not looking too bad. We may get some winners out of this group. So I'm going to put the pair of tens in the back with the king, and I'm going to put the two sevens in the front. We got a chance. And this player over here is going to look at this one. Nothing going on here. Best I can get out of here is an ace. I'm going to probably lose $150. That's why I usually bet for 5 and 10. Player wins, banker wins, it's a push. So let's change this hand a little bit just for the sake of being able to explain commission. Can you find a 10 in there? Okay, let's say that the player won both hands. I want to show you what happens about the commission, so when they do it, you won't be excited or upset that they took some money off of you. So this $100 is going to win, but remember we have to pay 5%. So when she pays that bet, she's going to take out the commission before she gives me the payoff. And on $100, 5% commission is going to be $5. So I'm only going to win 95 for my $100 bet. But that's okay, it was a win. Okay, and then we're going to go to the next hand. I could pick this up anytime I like after she pays it. Player is going to win. Banker wins. That hand's a push. No win, no loss. I can now change my bet if I like. Player wins. Banker wins. Push. And we go to another game. Okay? So it's the same game as with the dragon as it is without the dragon, except that this dragon moves from hand to hand. Each player has an option, and you can take the option again if you like. Okay? So all this time the player's been doing the bank. So, or the dealer's been doing the bank. So we're going to play a hand in which the player can take option for the bank. Now, it's a nice action if you can do it, but the point is players bet whatever they want to bet, and what you're saying is I'm going to cover all of their bets, which means I have to have enough money in front of me to be able to pay off everybody. If a player wins, I'm responsible to pay that bet, but the house is going to take the commission. If I lose all my money because everybody beat me, then the house is going to get the commission and I'm going to pay the bills. And if I win everybody's money or some of the money, and after I pay all of the people who won and I lost to, then I will pay commission on my total win, not all the bets on the table. So we're not going to play all these hands, I don't think, but we have to put a little bit of an example out here. My last bet was $100, so that's how much I'm going to be gambling on my next bet. And we're going to put these people just at $10 because that's pretty easy. So the dealer's going to take the amount of my last bet and place it on top of her hand. Now, because I'm the banker, I get to pick. Well, you can only pick when it's a manual deck. If it's manually shuffled and I'm the banker, then I get to pick which hand is going to be the first hand and which hand will be the last hand distributed. But with the machine, the little light is going to tell you where the first hand's going to go, but I'm in position 1, 8, and 15. So we're going to use the dice instead. She's going to shake it up. We have a point of 13, so I'm 15, 14, so 13, the first hand.